Good morning, everybody. And just as we walked onto stage, it's good afternoon. So, good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon, Shashi sir. Good to have you here with us. Next represents a thinking and a platform. Right in the heart of Next is X, which signifies for me crossroads. And I think it's at those crossroads all of us stand, all of us sit, and delighted to be moderating this panel. You've heard panels and panels during Next this year. I refer to this one as the Rockstar panel because we've got 4 rock stars joining us on this panel, which really means we are redefining not just the past, but we're redefining the present, looking at the future. And Guneet, Monga, multiple Oscar winner on this panel. You can look up her entire repertoire of work and you'll realize how blessed we are to have her on this panel today. There's Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra, fantastic filmmaker, made films and films, Rang De Basanti, Bhag Milka Bhag, Delhi 6, and Bhag Milka Bhag has had us all running for a long time. There's R.S. Prasanna. He's dealt with all kinds of everyday problems, from erectile dysfunction to inclusivity, and made great films out of it, from Shubh Mangal Savdan to the Tamil version which preceded that, and then the recent inspirational blockbuster, Sitare Zameen Par. And then you've got Medha Jaishankar. She really is the symbol for this Rockstar panel. Travels across the world, lives in India, lives in the US, lives in Canada, lives in UK, and through those 4 lives that she lives a life that is one that's made of dreams. The creator of WalkMix, which is a platform and a tool that is redefining 360 degrees spatial audio, filmmaker, story writer, storyteller, all wrapped in one, worked with some of the biggest stars in Hollywood, some of the biggest technicians that are only dreams made of, and Oscar winners there. And she looks like she's jumped out of a Pink concert done by Prince. And the pink is her signature, and she represents all of us here with pink hair downwards. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Rockstar panel. Put your hands together. My first question to my friends here is very simple. What will cinema look like 10 years from now? What will cinema look like 10 years from now? And I'm going to start with R.S. Prasanna first.
Sabbas, opening batsman is very tough, especially, but it's easier when you're opening with a rockstar team like this. So, even if you're duck out, you have like really good guys coming up later. So, I don't know what cinema will look like, but I can only tell you that what cinema will feel like. I think cinema after 10 years is going to feel more human. And we're going to go back to basics. There's going to be lots of, like you have AI slop, you'll have a lot of cinema slop, media slop. But I think eventually the cinema that's going to stick is going to be the same old thing. The cinema that tells a story, the cinema that makes you feel emotions. And I think we are living in a world where the Navarasas, the 9 emotions, as we say,
yes,
is even more valued today. So people are going to outsource their emotions to cinema. They say, cinema is going to make me fall in love. Cinema is going to make me feel patriotic. Cinema is going to make me feel like a hero. I think that's already happening because a lot more robotic lives are being led. But Charlie Chaplin made us laugh during the Depression. So it's always emotion. It's going to be always. So cinema, how is it going to look? I don't know. But cinema, how it's going to feel? I think it's going to feel even more human.
Medha, over to you.
You know,
What's your look and outlook for the next 10 years?
well, if you look at the history of cinema, it began out in caves in France. You can maybe jump over to Edison, moving images, then sound, then color. And now technology is evolving so fast. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 years. But I'm a little biased because I'm in the business of immersive media and in the business of selling tools for immersive media. So if you'd like to join the train for technology, I benefit greatly. But I think the cinema going experience is going to change a lot because for whoever is listening here, I have no idea who is listening or not listening. Raise your hand if you've been to the cinema more than 5 times this year. Oh, there are only, how many people do you think have raised their hands?
20.
20 or so?
About 20, yeah.
Okay. Well, this gentleman
In a hall
actually,
of 1,020.
this gentleman's last movie was a very, very unique distribution strategy that I think is very relevant for the next 10 years, to get people to watch cinema. And what is the definition of cinema? That is actually the question you should be asking, because is it the traditional going to a theater, or is it me wearing a VR headset with earphones, experiencing the world of Avatar, or whatever the immersive world is? So to answer your question, I think in the next 10 years, cinema is not going to be just one standalone film. It's going to be the film and the world around it, whether it's social media, games that derive from it, TV shows that derive from it, conversations online that derive from it. So it's not just one entity and one piece of IP, it's a whole universe.
Thank you, Medha. Thank you, Prasanna. Guneet, I'm coming to you.
Yes.
You've
hello.
been the master of borderless storytelling. What are you seeing as the next big change that's coming to filmmaking itself?
I feel the power of cinema, and cinema at large is not going anywhere, There has always been a threat. VCR आ गया, कभी digital आ गया, कभी, film से digital जा रहे हैं हम, कभी कुछ. There's always been this fearful audio आ गया, but the sense of community experience and I think is not going anywhere. I think technology will help us in various aspects of filmmaking to enable us to tell our stories. I am I'm a proponent of technology. I would love to use any technology for distribution, for access to distribution, like language dubs and getting our piece of cinema from India to around the world. I think that is, I feel, the purpose of my life. And at that journey, I dedicate my life to. So I would use technology to double down on any aspect of filmmaking, be it looking at sets, be it looking at how AI can help. But at large, cinema is not going anywhere. It's a much needed cultural connection for all of us to live, eat, breathe. It's not like it's going to die. It will shapeshift. It will always adapt, but it's not going to go anywhere. It's here, the way it is.
Thank you, Guneet. Though you're far away and she's been stuck with some personal pressing matters, despite that, you've taken time out to join us here. Thank you, Guneet. Really appreciate it.
I'm so
Thank
sorry
you.
I was not there.
Missing you.
Yes. Off to you, Rakeysh ji. Future audiences are growing up in a world of constant visual storytelling. Your competitor is your audience for every filmmaker. Every Instagram reel is a story. Every film is dying to be made out of each of those stories. Where do you see this going, and how does cinema remain powerful in this new world that has emerged?
We'll have to go to an astrologer to understand the future of cinema, I guess. But as far as my limited view goes, I feel the future will depend on the present. The kind of stories we tell now are going to influence the future filmmakers, the next generation of filmmakers. It's all about storytelling, and it's not about technology shaping it up as such. We'll adapt to that. That's not a problem. Again, the kind of storytelling will depend on the socio-cultural, political, economic, the collective consciousness of the nation and nations as such. How fearful or how fearless the voice of cinema will be now is going to define what's going to happen later. Also, conversations around cinema, I think, have been there. They have died down right now. They will resurface. There will be a resurgence. So the critiques around cinema, the journalism around cinema will play a very important part as to how open the cinema is. And I think the scissors finally will play a big part. It will play a bigger part than AI. So censorship has to be looked into. So these are my views, and I see, like the doctors have spoken before us, I see a generation that is dying to express. I see a generation which is quite angry. I see a generation which is sleeping less. I see a generation which is addicted to the phone. Something will give, and that will reveal the stories, and that will be the future of cinema. I think अभी घड़ा भर चुका है, तो पानी तो बाहर छलके गए. Yeah. Thank you, Sabbas.
Thank you. Thank you, Rakeysh. Over to you, Medha. Cinema storytelling is evolving. I'm going back to the way to your answer in technology playing a big role in the storytelling. Interactivity, the lack of the linear narrative, and the interactive narrative being the new story. Can you elaborate more and tell us more as what your experience has led you to believe?
What has the, sorry, I'm trying to figure out what's the best way and for this audience, what I should articulate, this aspect that you're...
In terms of gaming and cinema, how are you seeing interactivity? Are you seeing audiences coming into a cinema theater with their consoles to play with the content and be able to develop their own new narrative? Please go ahead.
You know, it's been interesting. I've been going to film festivals for the last 20 years, so is Guneet, and I think everyone here, actually. And when you go to a gaming conference, it's very, very interesting because it's not just the elite class. It's all sorts of types of people from different socioeconomic classes, different backgrounds. You'll see families, and so many more people than a traditional film festival. I think we're being elitist by thinking that there's a gaming universe that's so small compared to the film world. No, it's massive. It's massive compared to what's happening in film. I think they can coexist. They do coexist to a certain degree, but they will merge much more in the future. I hope that answers your question for this audience.
I think so.
Does anyone play video games here? Can we get a show of hands? Oh, as many people as those who go to the theater.
Okay.
I think you should ask, does any of their children that they know play video games? Then a lot more hands may go up.
Prasanna, to you. Where do you see the inspirational aspect coming in, especially with regard to intimacy versus spectacle?
Wow. You know, when we were scoring the background music for Sitare Zameen Par, Ram Sampath, who's, of course, a wonderful music composer, but a wonderfully, I find him a very beautiful mind. So, in fact, when we were scoring we were doing the background score for Sitare Zameen Par, he said, what you're looking for, Prasanna, is epic intimacy. and you use the same phrase. So I think the spectacle is very often confused to be scale. But actually what matters is the person who's there on that flight. Like when you go on a roller coaster ride, right? You have to make sure that the guardrails are holding you in position in safety. So I think, yes, there is the spectacle, but the spectacle is meaningless without consciousness, without somebody, kind of distilling that for you as an experience. So I think what we're looking at is when you, the epic or the spectacle and the intimacy and all of that, I think even if you take a movie like, let's say, Bahubali or an RRR or Rajamouli or a Spielberg, they have this unique ability to place you in a spot of danger or in a spot of massive visuals where you feel small or you're flying. So I think it's experiential. So again, going back to what Medha was saying, taking from video games, from comic books, you see the point of view of a person is so important, right? So I think if movies can retain the personal and take you on a journey through this exotic world, then you have magic.
And sorry, just very quickly to add to a term you used just now, guardrails. In the face of AI, I think it's the wild, wild west right now. And I'm part of an organization called C2PA that's trying to standardize human authentication in the form of creation. So when we as creators create, we can add metadata to differentiate between AI content and human content, and therefore give different royalty rates to human versus AI content. So I just wanted to add that on to what you were saying. We can create
That's
that
amazing.
intimacy, and
That's
that,
amazing.
yeah, we should talk about it a bit more.
Guneet, this one is for you. AI is a collaborator, AI is a competitor, AI is your partner. Where do you see AI tools helping cinema makers, independent filmmakers and studios move into the future? Faster, slower, or making all of us obsolete? Where do you see this?
I think there is an answer in your question where you say AI tools, and that is exactly what that is. I feel AI is a tool, and we are all figuring how best to use it. I don't think जो यहाँ है, जो अंदर है, वो कोई भी लेके जा सकता है. Forget AI, So there is a sense of value that a filmmaker, a writer, a creative mind, AI is a derivative of information that is fed by human beings. But human beings have a capacity to imagine beyond that. I mean, we have been making robot taking over the world films, I mean, in the West, in the pop culture. So for a very long time, right? And that's, and then the goodness, the bad, the evil, using robots. I mean, from lots of ways of telling stories with technology. And what I'm trying to say is that was also imagined by humans. So AI for me is a tool which can maybe help us innovate distribution, and I'm fascinated about that. AI for me is a tool that can maybe innovate large-scale set designs. I'm fascinated. I want to know more. How authentic they are, how real they are, because our eye will only crave more natural things. There is a sense of plastic and artificial that nobody likes. So the human experience is what only humans can create. If AI can come into processes, pre-production, production, post-production, what is the process that can be of assistance to creative minds, to creators, is definitely on the table to discuss and to create and to be part of, and how best to use them. So I feel like AI is additive, and it is threatening not for creative jobs, it is threatening for process-oriented jobs, and that all of that we will down the line see.
Okay.
I hope that.
We're going to our last question, and my request to my panelists is to keep it down to 5 words, maybe maximum 10. I'm giving you a statement. Now we've got Shashi sir in the house, so you have to keep it even simpler. Everyone give him a round of applause. Come on, we've got Shashi Tharoor in the house, let's celebrate him.
And Scott.
The future of cinema will belong to those who. You're filling in the blank. The future of cinema will belong to those who. And we're starting with Prasanna.
The future of cinema will belong to those who continue to be human and continue to be crazy.
The future of cinema belongs to Gen Alpha.
Guneet, to you.
The future is audacious and the future is here, and it belongs to people who dare to dream.
Rakeysh, over to you.
10 plus 5, 15 words, yeah. So the future of cinema will belong to the present of cinema, I must say, and the people who will embrace life with all its bookmarks will tell better stories.
Wait, what's your answer?
Cinema has constantly evolved. I think cinema will belong to storytellers and the audience. The format you use will keep evolving. We'll move from silent films to talkies, from theaters to streaming, from theaters to home theaters, from cameras to algorithms. But one thing will remain unchanged. The world will always need stories. The question is not whether cinema will survive. The question is, what new form will storytelling take? Please put your hands together for our Rockstar panel, and let's give them a really huge round of applause, not just for those of us in the room, but for the two who are out there on their screens, putting aside their personal challenges to be here with us. Thank you, Rakeysh. Thank you, Guneet. Thank you, Medha. Thank you, Prasanna.
Thank you.
Stay awesome. Thank you.